Patrick Tuohey. You indicate you want to that you have questions about the project. Generally, we don't get into a tete-a-tete if you are able to say what you want to say about your opinion, but no cross-examination.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Again, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here and to speak. And Mr. Mayor, my comments will actually be brief. I represent the Show Me Institute. We are a nonpartisan, nonprofit public policy think tank. We are officed at 3645 Troost. And Mr. Burt said in his comments earlier that no matter how much you try to share with people, sometimes they just don't agree. And I think Mr. Geary and Mr. Schulte, Mr. Burt himself, Mr. Burke can testify that the Show Me Institute has been eagerly trying to understand this project just by the volume of our sunshine requests. In fact, Mr. Burke has stated publicly in the paper he doesn't want to give me some documents that I'm asking for. But let me say, in short, what we're talking about and what the proponents of this plan are saying is that it does not make business sense to build a convention hotel on that spot right now. And because it doesn't make business sense, they need the taxpayers to be the first investors. They need the taxpayers to come in and subsidize this project to the point at which it does make business sense. That is the argument you're considering today. I am grateful that Councilwoman Shields started off this meeting by mentioning that the Vista Hotel, which is the last time the city built a convention hotel, was contemplating bankruptcy within 18 months. A few years later, 10, 13 years later, the city tiffed the Mulebach and lost money on that because demand was less than what we projected. Some of the documents that I have finally gotten, I got an HVS report. They are hotel consultants. It was a 2013 report, but 2.5 years later it was finally provided. It says, and again, this is 2013 numbers, that it predicts if we built a 1,000-room convention center, we would double the number of citywide conventions we hosted in Kansas City. And my question to you, and it's rhetorical right now, is that reasonable? Isn't it reasonable to say that just because we build a convention hotel, just because we provide more supply, that demand will go up? Mr. Schulte said earlier that the onus is on Ronnie to make this project work, but we're not increasing Visit Casey's budget. We're not giving them any more tools to do their job. We're simply building a hotel and sitting back and saying, everything's going to roll in. And by the way, Kansas City has been in this spot for 30 years. We have built convention hotels. We have expanded convention centers. We have built more hotels. We have expanded convention centers again. And every time we do that, the reality never lives up to what we were promised. So I encourage you, look into these numbers. Get these HVS reports. Mr. Ratner said that he has his own numbers on occupancy, on average daily rates. I believe the public, and certainly the members of this council, should see that information. They should see the HVS reports of 2010, of 2013, of 2015, and make sure that as investors of taxpayer dollars, you are satisfied that this deal makes sense. In that 2013 deal, the HVS report itself said that downtown hotels right now have a 50 to 55% occupancy rate, but that the convention hotel, it projects, will have a 68% occupancy rate. Is that reasonable? That just because we build a hotel, and remember, that is all we're doing, just because we build a hotel, demand goes up. My biggest concern is that those HVS documents were not made available to the previous council, that they have not been made available to you, and that the 2015 report has not been made available to you and probably not to the previous councils. And that is information that you must have. Whether or not we have a vote on this, the public absolutely has a right to understand what you are doing with our money, and certainly you have to be able to stand up in front of your constituents and say, based on the information that was made available to me, I made the right decision. So I encourage you, get those documents, look into them, look into the projections, look nationwide, see what the results have been. Mr. Burt talked about Denver business going up 18%, Dallas going up 18%. But remember, what those HVS documents tell us is that room nights and citywide conventions will double. Those are the assumptions they're making. And I encourage you, if you haven't already, to go to showmeinstitute.org and look at what we've written, because we have dissected the documents that have been made available to us, and we encourage Mr. Burke and everybody present to share with the public everything that they are basing their decisions on so that your decision is informed. Thank you. I am grateful for your time.
Thank you.